To the August 13th meeting of the Garden Grove City Council. Madam Clerk, would you like to call roll?
Councilmember Brightingham.
Here.
Councilmember O'Neill is absent. Councilmember Dovin.
Present.
Councilmember Klopfenstein.
Here.
Councilmember Nguyen Peñalosa.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Tran.
Here.
And Mayor Jones.
Here. May I ask Assistant City Manager Matt West to do the invocation, followed by Councilmember Joe Dovin to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you. Please prepare yourself according to your faith. Dear Lord, as we gather here tonight, let us take a moment to reflect on the responsibilities we bear as leaders and stewards of our community. May we approach our discussions with wisdom, empathy, and a shared commitment to the common good. We ask for guidance and the courage to make choices that reflect the values of justice, equity, and compassion. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Please face the flag, put your hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please take your seat.
All righty. Before we go to presentations, I'd like to pull item number 4 out of order as it pertains to one of those.
Second.
So we got a motion and a second. Call to vote.
Sorry, can you repeat who was the first and the second?
George, and then, or I guess I was the first and then he's second. Yeah.
Thank you. It looks like I missed somebody.
Since Joe's absent.
Okay, let me reset this. Okay. Well, looks like we're having some technical issues. Let me just do a roll call vote here. Councilmember Brightingham.
Yes.
Councilmember Tran.
Yes.
Councilmember Dovin.
Yes.
Councilmember Klopfenstein.
Yes.
And Mayor Jones.
Yes.
Motion received, 5 yes votes.
All right. Presentations number 1, Community Spotlight in recognition of Joe Chandler and Joanne Gross for being named the 2024 Strawberry Ball King and Queen Senior Volunteer Man and Woman of the Year.
This evening, the Garden Grove City Council is proud to recognize 2 special individuals who have enhanced the Garden Grove community with their spirit of service. Unfortunately, the 2024 Garden Grove Strawberry Ball Queen and Senior Volunteer Woman of the Year, Joan Gross, couldn't be here tonight. Would Joe Chandler, the 2024 Garden Grove Strawberry Ball King and Senior Volunteer Man of the Year, please come forward? Every year, the city's H. Lewis Lake Senior Center hosts the Strawberry Ball to honor the new Strawberry Ball King and Queen and recognize them for their dedication to volunteerism with local organizations. It is the city's privilege to honor these 2 exceptional individuals. We will begin with Joe Chandler. Joe was born in Hartford, Connecticut, and has been a resident of Garden Grove for 62 years. Following his 33 years of service with the Garden Grove Fire Department, Joe has dedicated his time to volunteering and helping the Garden Grove community. Joe is an active member of the Garden Grove Community Emergency Response Team and has volunteered for the Garden Grove Police Department. He also belongs to the National Resource Defense Council, National Wildlife Federation, and the Defenders of Wildlife. Originally from Buffalo, New York, Joan Gross has been a resident of Garden Grove for 54 years. Before retiring, she worked as a registered nurse for 65 years. Joe spends her free time volunteering and serving her community. She's been a volunteer for the Garden Grove Police Department, Garden Grove Community Services Park Patrol, West Anaheim Hospital, and Cerritos Performing Arts Center. At this time, the mayor and the city council would like to present a proclamation to Joe Chandler for his selection as the 2024 Garden Grove Strawberry Ball King and Senior Volunteer Man of the Year. The city will also provide Joan Gross with her proclamation as the 2024 Strawberry Ball Queen and Senior Volunteer Woman of the Year. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Do we want to take?
while I was on the fire department, which I was very proud to be, we worked with police departments surrounding Garden Grove often. Garden Grove, in my opinion, has the finest police department in the area by far. So when I retired from the fire department, public safety's kind of in my blood, and I decided to be a volunteer for the police department. So I've been a volunteer for the police department for 29 years now. I think this probably been my last one, so I think 63 years when this year's over will be enough. And I'm getting tired and I'm getting old, so thank you very much for this honor. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, presentation item number 2, community spotlight in recognition of the Garden Grove Strawberry Festival Association for organizing the 2024 Garden Grove Strawberry Festival.
So next, the Garden Grove City Council is proud to recognize a devoted group of individuals who have played significant roles in continuing the Garden Grove Strawberry Festival's reputation as a signature event in the community. Would President Mark Mahoney from the Garden Grove Strawberry Festival Association and the directors joining us tonight please come forward? The Garden Grove Strawberry Festival Association is a nonprofit organization dedicated to raising funds for local organizations that provide services for children, youth, and seniors. For 64 years, community leaders have volunteered hundreds of hours planning and coordinating the Garden Grove Strawberry Festival to give back to the community. This year's theme was Celebrating Our Hometown, and an estimated 200,000 people attended the 4-day festival, with many nonprofit groups benefiting from sales of food and game booths. The Garden Grove Strawberry Festival also held their Special Kids Day, when the festival was open a day early to kids with special needs for free entertainment, food, and rides. The Garden Grove Strawberry Festival Association has raised over $7 million for local charities since its formation in 1958 and pledges to donate around $100,000 to the Garden Grove community each year. At this time, the mayor and city council would like to present the Garden Grove Strawberry Festival Association with a gift in appreciation and recognition of their tireless efforts in organizing the 2024 Garden Grove Strawberry Festival. Congratulations.
Some of you have to get on that side.
One, two.
Get her cake and eat it too.
Pancake there, huh? Thank you.
As always, we would like to thank the City of Garden Grove Police Department, Orange County Fire Authority, and most definitely Janet Paleo. We just love her to death. Without all of you guys behind us, it would be an even more daunting task than what we already have. And I tell you, by the crowds that we had this year, I think everybody really did enjoy our hometown. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for everything.
Great job.
Go ahead, Omar. Yeah.
Yeah, Mayor. Item number 3 on the agenda is being pulled and will be continued to a date in the future.
Okay, thank you. All right, next we will go to oral communications. And we have half a dozen cards, starting with Jimmy Webb. There he is.
Dressed up for the occasion. It's hot outside. I don't have anything to complain about or anything like that. I just really wanted to come here. All the signs are going up, and just wanted to say thank you, George. I know you still have 2 more years, but you've done a lot in this community. John O'Neill, and he's a Vaquero alumni, and Cindy, you know, we've become good friends and stuff, and ran against each other and stuff, but it's been great, you know. And Joe, you were doing it with your wife before you were on, so I appreciate that. And Stephanie, you're going to be termed out too, and you know, so we're losing half of our city council, and you know, you've put a lot of heart into it. And Kim, like, you went through a marriage and had a kid, and you're still here. And Steve, another Rancho alumni, you know, fight on. But but you know, I just want to say thank you, sincerely. You know, like, I know you guys do a lot. It's a thankless job, and we have great city staff as well, you know, Public Works and Teresa Pomeroy and everyone else. And, you know, I'm very thankful, and it's great to see our community. I don't come here all the time because I just stalk you guys on YouTube and watch it, you know, but I watch every single one, I guarantee that. But thank you. You know, I know it's a thankless job, and I just wanted to give my thanks and come down here, dress up and stuff in the heat, and say thank you for everything that you guys do. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you.
Kelly Price.
Good evening. I am also here to say thank you about the great job that has been done at the Magnolia Park. I've lived here in Garden Grove since 1985, and it is very heartwarming to see the resources that have been put into the Parks and Recreation Department. And I appreciate that the time and money was spent to improve that park. I appreciate Mark Freeman and the people that worked with him to be able to make that a reality. I have appreciated that you brought in the reference to the Wakems and what they did for the city, that oranges and lemons and avocados have also been an important part of our city, and that that can be taught to future generations. I am a firm believer that the quality of our parks and the conditions of our streets are important for our life here in Garden Grove. We have a beautiful city, and when it is taken care of, it makes an important impression on those that pass through it and that come to the Strawberry Festival and enjoy all the many things that we offer. It is important for our children and our grandchildren for us to do things like this. And so I just wanted to thank you for making my little corner of Garden Grove on Magnolia and Orangewood a nicer place to live at. So thank you.
Thank you. Kyle Mason.
Good evening, everybody. And I hope you all are going to be here the next round, because I think you guys are doing a pretty good job. It's slow. It is a grind. I appreciate the fence you put up, but the problem is it's only a Band-Aid. You put the wrong one in. You paid A1 fencing yesterday. It's got to come out. They're already down there telling me to off. I've got pictures of it. In fact, here's Aaron Hansen, their supervisor. He's wondering, they're hollering at him, and he's more concerned about the Bank of America underneath. You guys, it's unreal. You know, I'm proud of that flag. Would you guys get Social Security to replace their flag? It's so faded out, you can't hardly even see the stars. It's embarrassing. I have pictures of it. Mr. Jones, I really appreciate you guys coming out on the 14th of March. Don't think I have a picture of you guys out there. At least you took a look and saw the problems and are at least trying. But still, we got to get the, if you guys can put this fence in 1 block away, why can't they put the same fence in here? Why this chain link thing, they're already down there. I got a picture of them down there right before I left to come to the meeting. They're telling, again, they're already down there, again. I mean, it's a Band-Aid. It's not even, the fence isn't even high. You guys they didn't take the old fence out. They put a fence over the fence. So there's 3 fences slammed together. And I got pictures of it all right here. And there's the flag. It's so faded you can't even see the number. It's embarrassing. And there's people down there telling me today, on my way to the meeting, please, you guys, keep cleaning, keep going on. You guys have done a really good job of covering up a lot of the graffiti, and there's a lot of it out there. The street family and the gangs that are coming around this area, I don't know where they're coming from, but a lot of them don't speak English, and it's not Spanish either. So it's a hard grind, and I appreciate all you guys' work. Please keep going. Keep coming back and keep going. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Catalina Doe.
Good evening. My name is Catalina Doe. I've been a resident of Garden Grove for 35 years. Late last year, the Wilson Center Plaza that's located on Westminster and Cary, District 3, I believe, repaved their parking lot and relocated several dumpsters, 6 to 7 of them, along the wall and within 1 foot of some of our residents' patios. And this was all done without permits. Ever since then, there has been an awful, horrendous smell of trash that has come into our community around our pool. And it's been several months. It's been since late last year. It's affected most of the residents. We can't really use our community pool. We can't open our doors or our windows because that smell of trash just comes into our homes. We can't take our small children to play outside. They used to have, about a year ago, 2 to 3 dumpsters, and this was never a problem. I've been a resident of Livingston Meadows for about 9 years. This was never a problem. All of a sudden, they have like 6 to 7 big dumpsters along with the small ones that we are now required to have as well. They are often left open. We see flies. We see rodents, possums. Code enforcement has been informed. They have been working with them, but we asked for your assistance to put more urgency in this because we've been living with this for several months. I mean, we would say we would like to invite you to our community so you guys can see what it is that we live with, the smell that we're having to endure. And we just, again, we please ask for your assistance in putting some more urgency in this matter. Thank you.
Thank you. Leland Sisk.
I'll turn it on here shortly. Mr. Mayor, council members, and this fantastic city staff, I'm here to catch up on something I mentioned in a previous city council session. The speed limit on Orangewood Avenue, I mentioned that if you turn eastbound on Orangewood from Euclid, there's a speed limit sign there that said 40, which is ridiculous. You go about 25 more yards, and then there's a City of Anaheim city limit sign. Well, I made a few inquiries and come to find out that 40-mile-an-hour speed limit the sign did not belong to the city of Garden Grove, it belonged to Anaheim. And it's now been changed. The speed limit on Orangewood is now 30. Thank you very much. On the parts that are in Anaheim, but parts of that street are in Garden Grove. So as you head eastbound or westbound, you go from 30 to 35 to 30 to 35, all the way over to the 5 freeway. So the city might want to check into that and see if you can make it consistent, because 35 to 40 miles an hour on that street is stupid. Continuation of the problem on 9th Street between Orangewood and Chapman. If you don't believe me, come over there some afternoon, maybe about this time, park on Daniel Street or on 9th Street adjacent to Daniel, and watch the motorcycle races up and down 9th Avenue. It's 1,937 feet, which is just over a quarter of a mile, and that's exactly what they use it for, to prove how fast their cars and motorcycles will go. And we hear it all the time. I would say I've seen vehicles doing 80, 90 miles an hour up and down that street, either direction. It's ridiculous. And by the way, the other day I was headed southbound on 9th Street coming back from the Food for Less area, and across Orangewood, I had the green light, crossed Orangewood, I was doing about 30, 35. Some guy passed me in the turn lane and gave me the old Hawaiian one-fingered salute as they went by. I was doing 35. I don't know what their problem is. They're only going a quarter of a mile and then they get to Chapman. Third thing I want to mention, if I can pull this back up here, the street vendors in the city are going crazy. They're putting up shop everywhere. The one that bothers me the most is on Chapman Avenue, just west of Euclid. They don't put anything up on the east side because there's plants there. On the west side, it's all bricked, and they set up bags of oranges. They walk in and out of traffic. They make chains. They don't care if the light's green or not. But the city of Santa Ana found a solution. Go down the First Street, head eastbound. When you get to Harbor, there's a sign, and it says, no soliciting or panhandling. No se permite vendeopedia dinero. So, Santa Ana Municipal Code 10-96-10100A, in case you're interested. I've never seen anybody standing there selling anything. The sign is there. It works. I suggest the city of Garden Grove try it. Couldn't be any worse than what you got going on now. Thank you.
Thank you. Glenn Frank.
Good evening. I'm one of the other residents who live in the same complex that Catalina Doe just spoke about. I'm one of her neighbors, and I get to enjoy the smell that we all get from the dumpsters there. A week ago, they actually did come around and they did use some high-pressure washers to try and clean things up. They put all of the dumpsters back against the wall again, and a week later, same problem. Nothing's helped. I looked over the wall. I'm going to be presenting this to the secretary, and watched 2 workers from the building come and dump 5-gallon buckets of oily fish water, whatever it is, in the parking lot drain and under the dumpsters. And when I asked him if he could please at least close the dumpster lid, he said, "It's not my problem, it's somebody else," and he pointed to the building. We've been dealing with this for several years, actually, but as Catalina mentioned, in the last 6 months, they've increased the number of dumpsters and the amount of trash that gets put in there, and I don't know how often trash is picked up there, but it's not enough. And we'd really appreciate it if somebody would help push this along. I know that there are several of the city departments that are working with us on this already, so I appreciate that. We have heard back from them, and I know they're following up. But please help us out over here in District 3. We're dealing with the heat and the smell, and it's becoming a little overbearing. Thank you.
If you want to give that to the city clerk, I'll give your 2 cards also, and make sure that we stay in the loop on the follow-up. Oh. I just looked up the address, but I forget exactly where it is. Okay, that's all the cards I have. Is there anyone else wishing to speak for oral communications that did not submit a card? Okay, seeing none, we will go ahead and close oral communications. We will recess to conduct successor agency. Madam Clerk, would you please call roll?
Member Bragdon? Here. Member Tran?
Here.
Member Dovin?
Present.
Member Klopfenstein?
Here.
Member Nguyen Peñalosa?
Here.
And Chair Jones?
Here.
And Vice Chair O'Neill is absent.
All right, we already did oral communications. Consent calendar is just receive and file the minutes. Can I get a motion? Call to vote.
Motion received, 6 yes votes
Joe's
with
back
John
in
O'Neill
business.
absent.
Woo-hoo. All right, any matters from successor agency members? If not, we will adjourn back to city council. We'll reconvene city council and go to consent items. We already did number 4. So it's recommended that items 5 through 18 be acted on simultaneously unless anyone would like to pull an item. Call to vote.
Motion received, 6 yes votes.
All right, public hearings, item number 19.
Tonight's public hearing item is adoption of a resolution contingently revoking an existing conditional use permit and approving a modified conditional use permit number CUP-284-09 revised 2024 for property located at 12941 Main Street to permit an existing restaurant to operate a billiard parlor with 8 pool tables as an incidental use, and the introduction and first reading of an ordinance amending Chapter 5.40 of the Garden Grove Municipal Code pertaining to pool rooms and approving zoning amendment number A-039-2024, amending Chapters 9.04 and 9.18 of the Garden Grove Municipal Code, entitled An Ordinance of the City Council of the City of Garden Grove approving zoning amendment number A-039-2024, and amending Chapters 5.0 of Title V and Chapters 9.04 and 9.18 of Title IX, and the Garden Grove Municipal Code pertaining to pool rooms, billiard parlors, and pool halls, and incidental amusement devices. And Director Nikki Wetzel is here to provide that report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council. Hung Lee, Associate Planner, has been the project planner for this and will be providing the presentation this evening.
Do we have the presentations? Good evening, Mayor Jones and members of the City Council. For your consideration tonight is a request for approval of a zoning text amendment to the Title IX and Title V of the Garden Grove Municipal Code to facilitate the allowance of billiard parlors and pool halls in conjunction with a full-service restaurant on Main Street, along with a request for approval to modify an existing conditional use permit to allow the Wolf Restaurant to operate with a billiard parlor as an incidental use. The proposed updates to the Title IX of the zoning code would allow billiard parlors and pool halls as an incidental use to a full-service restaurant in a CC2 zone, which only encompasses properties located along Main Street. In addition, the proposed amendment would update the billiard parlors and pool halls special operating conditions and development standards of the mixed-use zone, and would also update definitions of billiard parlors and pool hall to ensure consistency throughout the municipal code. The proposed updates to the Title V of the Municipal Code would make minor amendments to the pool rooms regulations to ensure consistency with the Title IX. Currently, billiard parlors and pool halls are not allowed in the CC2 zone. The proposed code amendment would allow billiard parlors and pool halls as incidental use to a full-service dine-in establishment, eating establishment-restaurant in the CC2 zone. The I denote an incidental use, and the asterisk denote the special conditions applied to the use. The properties that benefit from this code amendment are outlined in red, and it includes all the properties fronting Main Street, right here, and Garden Grove Boulevard, which is the downtown area with the CC2 zoning designations. Additionally, the proposed amendment would create special operating conditions and development standards for billiard parlors and pool halls that are incidental to full-service restaurant in the CC2 zone. The conditions and standards would include, but are not limited to, limiting the properties with the primary access and entry toward Main Street and Garden Grove Boulevard, establishing a definition of a full-service dine-in eating establishment-restaurant, ensuring billiard parlors are only permitted as incidental uses to full-service restaurant, ensuring a conditional use permit is required, specifying that hours of operations might be limited and security measure required, and ensuring unobstructed views into the establishment be maintained. In addition, staff also want to clarify that pool halls are required to obtain a pool permit from police department to be able to operate in the city under this condition, amendment. The billiard parlors and pool hall definitions will also be updated to provide internal consistency within the code. In addition, the definition of incidental amusement devices will be updated to clarify and limit the number of pool tables as incidental amusement devices to 2 or fewer tables to ensure consistency between the definitions and applicable standard within the code.
In addition to the proposed code amendment, the applicant, which is the Wolf Restaurant, is requesting approval to modify an existing conditional use permit to allow the Wolf to operate with an incidental billiard parlors with 8 pool tables. The interior and the hour operation of the restaurant will remain unchanged. The pool tables will be used for open play in conjunction with the service of food and beverage. In addition, the restaurant will also provide weekly league play and occasionally tournaments as a special event or fundraiser. Police departments have reviewed the applicant's request for the proposed zoning text amendment and the modified conditional use permit, and is in support of the proposal. Therefore, staff recommends that the City Council first conduct a public hearing, introduce and conduct the first reading of an ordinance approving the zoning text amendment number A-039-2024, and adopt a resolution approving conditional use permit number CUP-284-09 revision 2024, and replacing the current conditional use permit. Before staff concludes our presentations, we want to inform that we received a public comment from Lorraine Kengler, a Garden Grove resident, related to the subjects, zoning text amendments. In the letter, she concerned about the proposed amendment would allow billiards parlor to be a primary use on Main Street, and staff earlier today have reached out to her and verified that pool halls and billiards are only allowed as an incidental use to a restaurant on the CC2 zone. She then have no further comments. And that will conclude staff presentations, and we are available for questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Colleagues, any questions? All right. This is I'm trying to go back to the thing. This is a public hearing, so I'll open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak on this item? I don't have any cards, but. Wait. Oh, yeah, before we open?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Just a quick one, because at the last part, it says incidental amusement devices. What kind of devices are we talking about? Like a dart board or arcade games, or are they more specific in their project description? Can we read their project description?
So incidental amusement devices here, the code defined as but not limited to pinball, air hockey, video games, and pool tables also considered as amusement device under these definitions.
Okay, but it doesn't give the numbers. I mean, the pool tables themselves, we got 8. But the incidental amusement devices, they won't say any numbers of devices.
Here under these definitions, unfortunately, it's not here, but we do have the. Oh, sorry. Here, here we see that you require no more than 9 total amusement device.
Okay.
So if you have more before the amendment, a business can come in with more than 2, and we still consider they will be able to do it. So we
Okay.
just want to clarify that under this, we only allow maximum 2 pool table as incidental devices.
Okay. So if they're in violation and they have more than the CUP applies for, do we revoke the CUP, or we just ask them to come back into compliance?
Thank you for the question, Councilmember Tobin. It would be a code enforcement case would likely be open, and we would have code enforcement go out and work with them to remove the unpermitted devices. If they refuse to, we could bring it back up for a CUP modification or revocation.
Okay, great, thank you. I just don't want to see, unlimited number of devices.
All right, we'll open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak on this specific item? All right.
Here with a pool cue.
Good evening. My name is Christine Farian. I'm president of HTB Inc. that runs The Wharf. and thank you very much for your consideration. We are planning to have a little bit of everything for the community. We want them to have an evening out that gives them some choices. You have some wonderful seafood and other food available for a great dining experience. You also have a bar there that you can enjoy spirits with that dining experience. And we also are very avid pool players, and so we would like to have the option of having pool available for a lovely evening out. If there is any questions that you might have of me, I would be happy to answer.
I actually do have one question.
Go for it.
And thank you for coming up. So years ago, my wife and I were in a traveling pool league.
Ah, yes.
Will you be hosting leagues there
Yes,
as well?
we will be. Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Do you want questions with her up there? Okay, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Come on up. Are you Mark Freeman's mom, by the way? 'Cause-
No, I'm not. But he said, but he did text me and say my check is in the mail. Sorry, Mark. But no, I do know Mark and appreciate the work he does. I grew up with a pool table in our basement. Though as a citizen, I'm just a little concerned about, we have at times gambling, illegal gambling establishments popping up around. How will it be monitored that that isn't going to be happening at this establishment? And I'm sure that's not the reason it's here for, but it does just give me a little pause and a little concern that who will be monitoring, who will be enforcing, and where's that money coming from? I just see that that might be an issue that would need to be addressed at some point.
You can stay up if you like, yeah. Go ahead. Either way.
For the conditional approval, number 16, we do include that there shall be no gaming tables and gaming machines as outlined in the city code sections 8.20.010 and 8.20.050 on the premise at any time. So we prohibit gambling.
So in short, there are conditions of approval in there that speak to that, and then it's just a matter of enforcing it if there's ever an issue.
Okay.
So it's been kind of.
Hello, my
Hi.
name is Kimberly Nichols. I live in Stanton, but I'm the owner of the American Pool Players Association for the whole county. So I just wanted to say that this is very important to our league. And the American Pool Players Association is a franchise that's based out of St. Louis, Missouri. There's 320 franchises in the world, and we have one of them here. And their number one rule is no gambling. Okay, there is no gambling in our league. We are very particular about the kind of people we have in the league, too. I don't want someone that's going to cause trouble to be in my league. And this is why I've been to every meeting to make sure this permit gets through so that we can have our league in your city. We already have it in other bars in your city, but this is a big deal to us because we just recently sold everything north of the 91. So now we only own all of southern Orange County, and this is the only place where we'll be able to have any tournaments for our league. There's 850 people in our league right now. We're trying to grow it. We have about 127 teams that have 8 people on a team. So this is going to help your community so much.
Yeah.
And the people that we have in our league, I don't want people that cause trouble. And if they do, they hear from me immediately, and they are no longer allowed in that bar or in the league. So I wanted you to know I'm very adamant about making sure it's safe for everyone that's playing there, and that it helps your community by keeping the crime rate down. We don't want to cause any trouble. We don't want any crime to be happening while we're there. And I personally, me and my husband, go to the bars every night to make sure things are running smoothly. So I just wanted to let you know that it's very important for us to have this permit go through. And thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. Anybody else wishing to speak? Seeing none, we will close the public hearing. Stephanie, you wanted to make some comments?
Yeah, I just want to make a quick comment. I think this is a creative use for this restaurant and bar on Main Street. It obviously brings in more entertainment value to our downtown and our Main Street. And I think that overall, there's a lot of eyes on that street at all times, and all the merchants get to know each other and have a pretty great relationship. So I think this will be a good fit for Main Street. The Downtown Commission supports these efforts and supports this use, which I think is also helpful for people to know. And if these tournaments bring in 850 or more people to Garden Grove, it's just exposing them to all that we have to offer and helping our small business community. So I'm in support of this and would make a motion.
We have a motion and a second. Anybody else? So, Joe, go ahead.
Just a quick comment. I think the Main Street location is in my district. So welcome to District 4, historic Main Street. I've dined at the Wharf, and I vouch for the very good food. So I'll cover that, and I like to watch. So I don't play, but I love watching pool. So yeah, yeah, I'll be on the bar stool watching. Thank you for developing that in our city, and we will hold it up as a model and a shining example of what Garden Grove can be, especially on Main Street. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Yeah, just a quick on those league nights. I remember every Tuesday night. This was years ago. My wife and I would, and she liked to bank, and I was a slicer, liked to cut, and so we'd call it Tuesday night fight night because we'd argue. But yeah, the folks there usually come, and I hope you guys will have Jack and Jill leagues. Those were really fun. It's usually husband and wife, boyfriends and girlfriends, and that kind of thing. And it, to bring that to our community and to, Main Street on a non-weekend day, I think it's awesome, just to give Main Street some more life. And so with that, I'll be very supportive.
Yes. So when I become a council member, I remember just what can we do to bring more activity on Main Street. And we have the flower day and all the activity that happening in the last couple of years. And so looking at this, I'm getting excited too because I see the people play pool on the location, and we're talking about the legion and something that adding another edge to Main Street. So I'm looking forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Call to vote.
Motion received, 6 yes votes.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Okay. Well, on that item, we'll move on. Okay. Commission committee matters. Item 20, we have acceptance of member Timothy Brady's resignation from the Administrative Board of Appeals.
But
Call to vote.
Motion received, 6 yes votes.
Thank you, Timothy, for your service. Items for consideration. We have 4 items listed, starting with item number 21.
Item 21 is authorization of the issuance of a purchase order to Coastline Equipment for 2 new John Deere loader tractors. And Deputy Director Sam Kim is here to provide that report.
Mr. Mayor and members of City Council, tonight City Council is being asked to authorize the purchase of 2 new John Deere loader tractors for Public Works Street Division to replace the existing aged tractors. These tractors will be purchased from Coastline Equipment through the Sourcewell competitive bid program. The tractors meet the city's guidelines for replacement. The surplus equipment will be sold at public auction. Based on the results of a recent Sourcewell competitive bid program, Coastline Equipment is the lowest bidder with just under $400,000 for 2 new tractors. There is no impact to general fund. This purchase will be paid with a fleet management fund. It is recommended that the City Council authorize the Finance Director to issue a purchase order in the amount of $398,818.88 to Coastline Equipment for the purchase of 2 new tractors. This concludes the staff report, and staff is here for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. Colleagues, Joe?
Hi, Sam. Do we have a lifespan on these vehicles, these 2? How long can we expect to use them?
We're replacing ones that are 25 years old, so expecting about the same lifespan with the new ones.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, so it's better than leasing, right? We want to own it
Yes,
for
sir.
those times. Thank you.
Second.
Call to vote.
Motion received, 6 yes votes.
All right, item 22.
Item 22 is approval of an agreement with Blue Violet Networks LLC for the installation of a new security camera system at the Community Meeting Center, Senior Center, Magnolia Park Resource Center, and Buena Clinton Family Center. And Mr. Mark Freeman is here to provide the report.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. This evening, we'd like to request the City Council approval of an agreement with Blue Violet Network to purchase and install a new security camera system, which includes a 200 terabyte server, a combined 200 terabyte server, a combined total of 28 interior and exterior security cameras for the Community Meeting Center, Senior Center, and the Buena Clinton Youth and Family Center, as well as exterior cameras for the Magnolia Park Family Resource Center. As part of the Community Services ongoing goal to provide a safe environment for residents of Garden Grove, as well as city staff, the department is in need of an upgrade to our existing security camera system. Currently, the Community Services Department has security cameras at the Buena Clinton Youth and Family Center, Community Meeting Center, and Senior Center. Most of these camera systems have been in place for nearly 15 years now, and as a result, they have very poor video quality or have stopped working altogether. Additionally, the Magnolia Park Family Resource Center does not currently have any exterior cameras. The current proposal will replace 20 existing old or non-operational cameras, as well as the addition of 8 new cameras. Additionally, the new system allows for strategic placement of the cameras, resulting in optimal surveillance of specific areas, such as the parking lots for all 4 facilities, as well as the new Civic Center Park once it is completed in the near future. In an effort to create a citywide standard for security camera equipment, software, and surveillance access, the Community Services staff were recommended by the city's IT department to obtain a quote from Blue Violet Networks for the replacement and additional security cameras at the previously mentioned facilities. In addition to the improved camera systems and the ability for city staff to see what is taking place inside and outside of the facilities in real time, there are additional benefits for standardizing the city's security camera hardware and software. These benefits include the police department will be able to have 24-hour remote access to view recorded footage as well as footage in real time without the need to switch to a different surveillance software program, as it is the same system that our PD currently uses and will be using in the new police building. Another benefit is having remote real-time access to the footage will provide an additional layer of safety for law enforcement as well as city staff in emergency situations. Additionally, standardized equipment allows for an easier and more cost-effective or cost-efficient expansion of new cameras at additional park locations and facilities. And lastly, an ease of ongoing maintenance and technical support of the equipment, as well as the software maintenance for the city's IT department. And one important aspect to note for this upgrade is the Community Service Department has included an on-premise server that will have enough storage for at least 30 days of footage for the 28 proposed new cameras, as well as the installation for an additional 30 to 40 cameras at different parks and city facilities. The larger storage of the 200 terabyte server will allow the Community Services Department to take a multi-phased approach in adding additional security cameras at other sites as new funding becomes available. For example, the Woodbury Park cameras will use this same server. The proposed agreement is for an amount not to exceed $158,015.19. This amount is budgeted in the Community Services fiscal year 2024 to 2025 operating budget, and no additional appropriation is needed. So to conclude, staff is recommending that City Council approve the agreement with Blue Violet Networks for the purchase and installation of the new security system for the Community Meeting Center, Senior Center, Magnolia Park Family Resource Center, and Buena Clinton Youth and Family Center, and authorize the city manager or her designee to execute the agreement and make minor modifications as appropriate and necessary. This concludes staff report, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Forgot to say hi to your moms.
Yeah, probably do a shout out.
Kim.
I was going to ask a question, but you answered it in your beautiful summary report, which was going to be Woodbury Park. So thank you very much. And with that, I'd like to make the motion.
Joe?
This is a quick question. Is there a maintenance contract with that? And are there warranties on the product if it fails in a year or two? Or what's the warranty period?
There is a warranty period. I don't have that number in front of me. But it's typically their usual standard 1 year for parts and labor. But I can confirm that at a later date.
Yeah,
John, if you had anything?
Councilmember.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. We have a motion and a second. Call the vote.
I'm sorry, can you repeat with the second? Stephanie, thank you. I have technical issues with my screen, so I'm going to do a roll call vote. Councilmember Brightigam?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Tran?
Yes. Yes.
Mayor Jones?
Yes.
Councilmember Dovin?
Yes.
And Councilmember Klopfenstein?
Yes.
And Councilmember Nguyen Peñalosa?
Yes.
Motion received, 6 yes votes.
All righty. Item number 23.
Item 23 is approval of amendment number 2 for quality fence for the Caltrans fencing improvement project. And Member Christy Lynn is here to provide the report.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. The item before you is the amendment to the Quality Fence construction contract in the amount of $466,459.90 for Phase 2 of the Caltrans fencing improvement project. In March 2023, the City Council approved a cooperative agreement with Caltrans for $1 million to provide funding on a reimbursement basis, allowing the city to install fencing, rocks, gravel, and slope paving along the underpasses of the 22 freeway. Under this agreement, the city implemented Phase 1 of the project, which included Beach Boulevard, Trask Avenue, and Pierce Pedestrian Bridge. A map of these locations is included in the staff report for your reference. Phase 1 is complete to date. During project implementation, SRT highlighted the effectiveness of deterrent fencing in preventing encampments. As a result, Caltrans authorized a modification to remove slope paving from Quality Fence scope under Phase 1. In exchange, Quality Fence will provide an additional 1,000 linear feet of fencing and 20 access gates for Phase 2 at no additional cost to the city. On May 20th, 2024, Caltrans released an MOU approving an additional $500,000 for Phase 2, increasing the total project funding amount from $1 million to $1.5 million. SRT identified 9 locations for Phase 2, which are listed in your staff report. A map of these locations is also included for your reference. Among these locations are Harbor Boulevard to address encampment concerns near Motel 6, and Brookhurst Street to address encampment concerns near the car dealership areas. Quality Fence's cost proposal for Phase 2 totals $466,459.90. As mentioned earlier, this phase will include the additional 1,000 linear feet of fencing and 20 access gates. 100% of this project cost will be funded by Caltrans per the cooperative agreement. It is recommended that the City Council authorize an additional appropriation of $500,000 per the amendment to the cooperative agreement with Caltrans, authorize the city manager to execute an amendment to Quality Fence's construction contract in the amount of $466,459.90 for the Caltrans fencing improvement project, make minor modifications as necessary, and execute any documents required to effectuate the contract on behalf of the city. This concludes my staff report. Staff and PD are available for questions.
Thank you, Christy. Kim?
Hallelujah. Thank the Lord. Thank you so much to Sergeant Brown and to Christy. This is probably the single most happy I've ever been in the last 8 years to see that this is finally coming to fruition. I know that you guys have heard me, I think almost every single council meeting talk about Harbor and Trask or Trask in general. And I know that many of you have also complained about other fencing areas in your districts as well. I don't know that this will solve all of my problems, but I think it will help as a deterrent. So I enthusiastically want to make the motion for this item.
Mayor, quick.
George?
I do have a question. So I love this fencing because I guess it's darn near impossible to cut. Or climb. And it's very secure. And because it's so hard to work with, there's only a few fencing companies that deal with this. It's not your typical chain link fence. We do have an ongoing problem with a flood control channel. We had a speaker here earlier. Oh, he's back here. You know, that area, that flood control area seems to be really bad. And we just put another chain link fence, and it's obviously already been cut in less than 24 hours. Is there any possibility of locating some of the extra fencing from this project over there to kind of secure that area a little more? I know it's not my district, it's actually John O'Neill's district, but he's not here, so I'm speaking for him.
Yes, sir. So to answer that question, the flood controls are going to be property of OC Public Works, and so this money has been earmarked for Caltrans right-of-way areas. And so unfortunately, I don't think those necessarily translate. However, we do have a good relationship in SRT with Orange County Public Works, and so we'd be more than happy to reach out and see if we can look at some deterrence fencing. I know they've put it up on other flood control areas, and so we can talk to them about the issues and see if they can help us out.
That'd be awesome. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Motion and a second. Call to vote.
Motion received, 6 yes votes.
Thank you, guys. Item 24.
Item 24 is award of contract to RJ Noble Company for the 2024 Arterial Streets Rehabilitation Project, City Project Number CP-1376,000. And Deputy Director Sam Kim is here to provide the report.
Mr. Mayor and members of City Council, tonight City Council is being asked to award the contract to RJ Noble Company for the construction of the 2024 Arterial Streets Rehabilitation Project. This project will include the following street segments: Chapman Avenue from Harbor Boulevard to Lewis Street, Lamson Avenue from city limits to Valley View Street, Lamson Avenue from Nelson Street to Euclid Street, Trask Avenue from Brooker Street to Benton Street, Dale Avenue from Garden Grove Boulevard to Lamson Avenue, Garden Grove Boulevard from Magnolia Street to Gilbert Street, Longden Street from Anthony Avenue to Stamford Avenue, Stamford Avenue from Longden Street to Owen Street, Trillion Avenue from Valley View Street to Topaz Street, and Wakefield Avenue from Euclid Street to city limits. Each street will be addressed with different rehab measures to properly manage the unique circumstances and will involve some or most of the following elements: removing and reconstructing failed pavement areas, cold milling, asphalt rubber aggregate membrane, full depth reclamation with a cement treated base, asphalt paving, replacement of a concrete curb and gutter, cross gutter, local depression, driveway, sidewalk and curb ramps, adjustment of utility covers to finish grade, catch basin inlet screens, conduits and pull box installation, restoration of traffic striping, signing, pavement marking and markers, installation of traffic loops, and reestablishment of centerline ties and monuments. 3 bids were received and opened by the City Clerk's office on July 24th, 2024. The lowest qualified bidder was RJ Noble Company with a total bid of $8,270,264. This bid amount is within the current project budget. Should the City Council approve the contract today, the construction can begin in September 2024 and be completed by March 2025. This project is included in the fiscal year 2024-25 adopted capital improvement plan budget and is funded by gas tax and general fund dollars allocated to the pavement management program. It is recommended that the City Council award the contract to RJ Noble Company in the amount of $8,270,264 for the construction of the 2024 arterial streets rehabilitation project, and authorize the city manager to execute an agreement with the RJ Noble Company and make a minor modification as appropriate thereto on behalf of the city. This concludes the staff report, and staff is here to answer any questions. Thank you.
Sam, colleagues?
I'll move it. I just would have a comment that there's a lot of street work going to be happening. This is a lot of work, and so be prepared, because you know how our phones blow up. People, oh my God, they're tearing up my road or whatever. But it's a minor inconvenience. You're going to have a nice new road. So this is a lot of work in a short period of time. So my hat's off to you for putting this all together, and because some of our roads really need it.
I'll second.
Joe?
Same question I always ask about streets improvements is how many miles?
It's going to be about 8 miles.
8 miles. And most of it is topical. I read all the background description here. Will any of it involve sidewalks?
Some of it, some in the neighborhood, yeah, but I don't know the quantities or how much.
Right.
I don't know top of my head.
Okay, yeah, I would like that because some of our neighborhoods do need better sidewalks in Köppen-Gummer.
I'd refer you to our pavement improvement plan that was approved and
Yeah.
has a $5 million budget that we approved back in 2017, if memory serves.
Yeah, so we definitely can use some more improvement. Thank you, Cam.
Just a quick note from here too, looking at some of the streets are really bad. And when you go to it and you said, okay, we council member, what can we do to improve it? So thank you for having this, and I cannot wait to see our street getting better. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, motion a second, call the vote.
Motion receives 6 yes votes.
I was going to say, yeah. I was like, we just spent 8, so. But she's on a roll. Takes us on to matters. We do have one listed, item number 25, which is discussion of an anti-camping ordinance.
Yeah, thank you very much. I wanted to bring this forward. So you probably all heard about the Grants Pass decision recently, and where they've now allowed enforcement of the encampments and this type of thing, the homeless encampments. Our city has come a long way. The governor actually just recently has kind of declared a similar type of thing statewide on state properties. And I think we need to get on board. Our city has done so many things recently to really reach out and help the homeless. We've created this navigation center. We're in the middle of creating this family resource center over in my district. And our PD has just done awesome dealing with the limitations they have in front of them. So we've got a lot of carrot. We've got a lot of carrots. But I think it's time to give our police department also the stick, so they can compassionately and respectfully offer people services, but they also have the authority to say, you just can't keep staying here. You just can't keep, So with that being said, I'd like to direct our city attorney to draft an anti-camping ordinance on public property and bring it back to us for, we've done this before, and I'm still waiting 5 years now on something that we all voted 7-0 to pass. So I'd like to put a time frame of 90 days. Just come back to us within 90 days. And, I'd like the spirit of this to be in the spirit of assisting the homeless first, as best that they can, but also giving them the tools they need to enforce the situation now that we have a Supreme Court decision that allows them to. I think we're overdue in that regard.
Happy to second that.
General Counsel, any words of wisdom from a legal standpoint? Anything we need to know, or are you okay with this moving forward for formulation?
Fine, we can bring back
Okay.
an ordinance for your consideration
In 90 days.
in 90 days.
You're not going to propose to scrub it.
No, we're gonna cut and paste Grants Pass ordinance.
Right.
I will
It's been
support
vetted.
it, and I want to see it back on the agenda in 90 days for a vote.
Okay, sounds
Before
good.
90
Do we,
days. It could come sooner if you could get it done sooner, but
you need a formal vote to do that, or do you have direction
Yeah,
from
please.
councils?
Um,
Okay,
yeah, I would
so we do
require
have a
formal
motion and a
vote.
second. We'll call the vote. And this is just to re-agendize it for an actual voting item.
oh no, oh, do we have
We're
no?
not-
That's to
No,
give them direction to
if
do
you
it.
actually move it, then it'll come as an action item and it'll
Yeah, I'm
come
sorry,
with the
that's
ordinance.
what I meant. I'm just
Yes.
saying, we're not approving an ordinance right now.
Right,
We're just approving, giving direction for staff to prepare an ordinance for a later vote.
And Omar and the city staff can meet with the PD and kind of get input from them and, you know, all that kind of stuff.
Yep. All right, motion and second to agendize this for a future voting item.
Yes.
Motion received, 6 yes votes.
All right, matters from council. George.
Sure. I do have one. And again, I'd like to bring it up for next week. I'd like to motion, we really need to look at our city's tree policy. We had a council policy, and I don't know if it was in the 60s or 70s, but it's a very old council policy where it's probably 1 or 2 times a month. I get an email from somebody, and they've got one of these non-indigenous trees, usually the eucalyptus tree or a pine tree, and these trees are literally over 100 feet tall. They weigh tens of thousands of pounds. Every time there's a rainstorm or a good wind, we lose them. They get blown over, they crush people's cars, they crush people's houses, and then the city's on the hook because there are trees. And they're very dangerous. I mean, we've been very lucky so far. Nobody's been killed, at least that I know of. Maybe before I got elected, but I haven't heard of anyone actually dying yet from one of these trees falling on their house. But it's just a matter of time. Every year we lose more and more of these trees. They get blown over. And routinely, almost monthly, I get at least one email, one call, where a resident wants to get rid of this tree. They think it's dangerous. It's in front of their house, and they're citywide. They're not just in my district. They're throughout the city, and they're saying, "Look, I want to plant one of the city-approved trees on the website. I want to get rid of this dangerous tree, but the city policy is that we have to get a signature from everyone on our street." And there's almost always one person on that street that won't sign the dang petition. And the last one I had, the property is in probate across the street from where the tree is, and the city says, no, you still got to get a signature there. There's no one living there. It's held up in legal mumbo jumbo. It's in probate, and so they can't physically get a signature, but the city's saying, no, you got to have everyone sign. I think we need to relook at that and let people, if they're willing to replant another tree, not, just get rid of it. I want to encourage them to actually replant another tree, one of the approved trees that aren't tearing up the sewers and the sidewalks, and, that we don't make them have to go through this petition process. And especially if they're willing to pay for the removal of the tree themselves. I mean, this has cost the taxpayers like $8,000 to remove some of these trees. I mean, if they're willing to pay for that, and they're willing to put in a new tree, then we shouldn't force them to walk up and down their whole neighborhood and get everyone to sign and fight with, it cause neighbor tensions because this one neighbor or these two neighbors won't sign the petition. I think we should relook at the policy, the council policy. And I really don't know when this policy was established. I've heard 60s, I've heard the 70s. These trees that I'm talking about don't belong in Garden Grove. They're those big pine trees that are mountain trees. They're not coastal plain trees. They're eucalyptus trees. They don't even belong in our country, let alone some of these trees, are totally non-indigenous trees, and they're very, very dangerous to our community. And so anyway, that's my hope that I can get a second so we can discuss this at the next meeting.
So just to clarify, you don't need a second to put on the agenda for discussion only. You only need a second if you want action.
Well, I want action. I'd like to change the policy, so.
I'll second it for both discussion and action. But I want to make it clear I'm a tree hugger.
Don't mind.
I think the ordinance is outdated. It's impractical and unrealistic. I think it was passed a long time ago when everybody knew everybody on the block. There's no discussion?
I don't
Yeah,
think we need to
we're
discuss it
just
tonight, just putting it on the agenda for
putting
next
it on
time.
the agenda for
Okay.
an action item for next time.
But I would just want to say that I am for amending the ordinance to something that we can all agree on, given the times, but not necessarily to scrub it all together. Thank you.
Got my vote too. Thanks.
Yeah, motion and a second, just to put it on next time. Call the vote.
Yes, we
Or do
do.
you- yeah.
It's coming back for action, so we'll have the actual ordinance on the agenda at the next meeting for the city council to review it and give us additional direction.
Okay, we're going to do a roll call vote on this. Councilmember Brightigam.
Yes.
Councilmember Dovin.
Yes.
Councilmember Klopfenstein.
Yes.
Councilmember Nguyen Peñalosa.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Tran.
Yes.
And Mayor Jones.
Yes.
Motion received, 6 yes votes.
And that's all I have for matters.
Thank you. Cindy?
Yes, sir. It's been a while since our last our council member meeting. I have a couple items. First was Taylor Nathan concert. It was amazing. That was the first. I have been in many of the Garden Grove City concert. That was the first one. I see so many kids, young children, and also adults was there singing and trying to just move, and it's just like a Taylor Swift event. And I thought when I was there, and I, beside feeling amazing and enjoy with that, and even mom and dad was singing together with the kid, I thought that this is just, I think one of the things I want to bring back to our council that our staff is that we need to have more concerts like that, where that people were so intrigued by that when I talked to the people around that, they said they have to wait for many weeks just to see that event. And if you were there, you just think it's like a Taylor Swift event. Everybody was just, like cheering and giving the bracelets, friendship bracelets. So that is just a little quick feedback to our staff. We need to have more of that, bringing young, just young children and young students and even adult, like they will really enjoy that. So that first. Second, I participate or represent for our council member at the two home buyer event, one at Garden Grove community meeting here, and the other one at Santa Ana. And there was so many people came, and everybody who came, they really appreciate and they're looking forward to participate in Garden Grove first time home buyer program. I have helped other people and went to successfully for the Santa Ana program before. This is for the Garden Grove. I'm glad that our city were able to change it to moderate income. So for home buyer out there, for first time home buyer, or resident that are looking for the opportunity, please reach out to our staff. And I want to say kudos to Monica, Tim, and Dana for an amazing job. They were there talking to people. There were so many people around them, and you could see that they have to answer. They were on the panel, but people were so interested in Garden Grove program that they were like all over the place. And also like all the gadgets that we brought, like people took it. When you come back later, you don't see that anymore. So great job. Next one was the community reimagined civic center part. So our city has our staff did a great job for community outreach to the resident to give input for the civic center reimagination part right here. and a lot of them was great, kind of appreciate that we're gonna do a big change and something new. But there were also a couple of residents that want me to bring back to the meeting here is that they wish that we would have something for the duck and something for, with the water feature. And so I passed that back to our city manager, Lisa, already. And I was told that maybe in the future we may have some kind of water feature incorporated somewhere. But that's just the feedback to the team. The police department and the nonprofit group did an amazing job for the PD National Night Out. Many residents were there, kids were there enjoying the time. Great job to the team. Next one was the Eagle Scout. So Councilmember George and I went to the Eagle Scout Award a couple days ago. It was just nice to see that we are encourage young adults. This is for the Scout troop, and it was nice to have them doing that in Garden Grove City. And so that just tell you how much we support and promote event for youth. And last but not least, I participate or I attend. There were two award picture taken with Congresswoman Michelle Steele that I guess they award our city $350,000 for public safety and $748,000 for the trash pavement rehabilitation. So that was just nice to see that we get some money to do things that improve our city. That was it for me.
Thank you. Joe?
Thank you, Mayor and colleagues. I'll be brief tonight. I want to focus on the public speaking aspect of our meetings, which next to the spotlight, is my second favorite part of our meetings. And it's really helpful that you are patient with us. You put your trust and confidence in us, and you voice your grievances in a very constructive way, and it helps us focus on what we need to do as your representatives on council. I've also heard that there are residents and businesses in our community that has grievances against the city, and I welcome them to come public speak or speak publicly so we can find alternative dispute resolutions. I'm a JD, I'm a Juris Doctor. My wife's a practicing lawyer. We know the legal aspects of how government work, especially city government. We don't like lawsuits. We don't welcome it. We don't challenge it. We don't want to have to cost us, the city taxpayers, money to defend any lawsuits. So I have an open invitation tonight to any and all residents and businesses that have grievances. Please come like our residents here that are still here from the beginning of our meeting to voice your opinion and give us an opportunity to work with you, to hear you out, and to make some progress, regardless of what those issues are. It's a matter of communication. And I get emails. I've heard George speak to his emails. I've heard other members speak to their emails, and I get emails. And I want to let you know that I read them, but I don't always respond, because in some cases it's not appropriate for me to respond. But I welcome the communication. And when possible, please come in and speak to us. And if you need a translator, bring a translator, or we'll try to provide one of our liaison to help with the communication so we can better understand what your issues are and maybe avoid litigation or misunderstanding. So that's what I want to focus on tonight. And also, we are in election season, and we heard one speaker say that some of us won't be here on the dais after November election, and there's a changing of the guards, usually in the mid-December. There will be new members here. We only have, 3 meetings left? So the members that are termed out will do their best to vote and to move as many agenda items forward as we can. But thank you for your encouragement and your support. Please support the next people who come in. Give them a chance, like you gave me a chance when I came on 2 years ago. And if it's me, one of the people who are departing, don't worry about it. Somebody will sit here and do my job maybe even better than me. So give them a chance. That's not to say I'm leaving anytime soon. Just hedging my bets. Thank you very much.
Stephanie.
Thank you. I wanted to talk a little bit from the vector control, not so much about mosquitoes, but I want to talk about flea-borne typhus. So we're seeing an uptick in typhus, not just here in Garden Grove, but in our surrounding cities. Flea-borne typhus is obviously a flea bites a possum, a squirrel, another animal, brings it onto maybe your house pet, your dog, your cat. You're bit by that flea that was on them that's infected, and then you can get typhus. Typhus is extremely serious. And nothing to mess around with. And so there's a lot of messaging and outreach and education being put in the community by Orange County Vector and Mosquito Control District. And so this is just sort of my PSA as the trustee of Vector to remind you to, if possible, have your pets on flea and tick medication. It's a great way to prevent that disease. Again, it's extremely serious. We're monitoring numbers. That seems to be right now a little more serious than even the mosquitoes. And believe me, they're still there too. They're biting year round now. So keep dumping and draining your standing water as well. But just to put it out there, I know there's been some social media posts from our public relations team here within the city. And we have our West Nile page on our website as well as typhus information as well. And you can go to ocvector.org for more information about typhus and how you can protect yourself, your families, and your neighborhood. Also, speaking about other animals and so forth, I've noticed an uptick in posts about coyotes on social media. Unfortunately, we're seeing small dogs and household pets being taken by coyotes. I walk my dog at night sometimes. I've seen them. They're out. So one of the things you can do, we adopted a coyote management plan some years ago, and part of that plan was also a hotline number. It's 714-741-5286. And really what that does, most likely you're leaving a message and you're explaining where you were when you saw the coyote. And it's really just to give a location and a pinpoint of that spot so that we can sort of adopt an understanding and a timeline of maybe some of those hot spots in those locations where you're seeing more of them. So please call the hotline number. That's what it's there for. And please be careful when you're out walking your pets. Couple other things. I just wanted to mention the ribbon cutting for the Canine Training Center for Garden Grove and Orange County. What a wonderful community event. So proud to have been able to bring that forward and have something of this caliber. This pilot program in District 5, Pioneer Park, needed some love and extra attention, and I think we can all agree that this is a great fit and a great spot for this. Not only is it going to be great for our canine teams, the emotional support team, and obviously our active canines out there fighting bad guys, but it's going to bring dogs and different law enforcement from all over the county into Garden Grove. So I just love when we can stand out as a city and do something and be sort of the first at it. So congratulations to all involved. It's just a wonderful evening for our community, and it was great to see so many people come out to support. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to ask the city manager if possibly we could have Sean Park issue a letter from me, if my other council colleagues would like to sign on, to send to the Orange County Board of Supervisors and address it specifically to Supervisor Andrew Doe regarding the flood channel. I did this back in 2018, and as a result, Supervisor Doe led an effort to replace the fencing in, I think, the southern portions of Garden Grove and Westminster, and I think in certain sections of Santa Ana. And for any of you that are interested in seeing what that looks like, the flood channel in front of Santiago High School actually has it. I had been getting calls from residents that there were individuals jumping the fence with machetes, and they were capturing that video on their cameras, and I was able to show that to Supervisor Doe and his staff. And after that letter was issued, I think OC Public Works and Supervisor's Office were on top of it, and that project came to fruition within a matter of, I think, within the year. So I'm sure staff has already communicated with them, but sometimes having a letter with the city council's names and signatures on it does kind of help move things on a little bit. So if we could do that, that would be great.
Good idea.
In order to be able to get all of the council members on the letter, we do need to bring it back as an agenda item for you to approve it.
I'll second it.
Okay. That was a motion then.
So call the vote.
Councilmember Brightigam? Yes. Councilmember O'Neill is absent. Councilmember Dovin?
Yes.
Councilmember Klopfenstein?
Yes.
Councilmember Nguyen Peñalosa?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Tran.
Yes.
And Mayor Jones.
Yes.
And motion received, 6 yes votes.
That new type of fencing that.
Yeah, that's the same fencing that's
Good
over
stuff.
there.
Yeah, the one I asked earlier.
There you go.
Yeah.
Next up, do I want to go bad or do I want to good? Let's do all the bad stuff first. I'd also like to ask the city manager if we can have a conversation or a phone call, probably phone call because I prefer Zooms, regarding OCTA's contract with the streetcar. I want to be made aware if there's anything in that contract that speaks to them not being in compliance or following good neighborly standards. I think I've texted you and Sergeant Brown probably twice a week for the last 3 months regarding the entrance point to the hub that is on Harbor, just east of Harbor on Westminster. I'm now seeing it become a problem on the crossing side, which is Santa Ana. I know that I've spoken about this in passing to Councilmember Kloffenstein, who is our OCTA rep, who would also like to be part of this conversation, and if we can loop in the city of Santa Ana. I don't remember if that is Councilmember Hernandez's district or Lopez. I only know one ward in Santa Ana, and that's the other, Peñalosa, so forgive me. But if we can figure out whose that area is and make sure that they're looped in as well, I want to make sure that, it's a concerted effort between both cities, as it is both of our problems now that OCTA fails to address that consistently. Next up, Stewart and New Hope. There's increase of graffiti along the street of New Hope, specifically centered around Stewart Street, so if we could take a look at that, that would be great. Also, next week, the Cal Cities OC Division is hosting a meeting in the city of Garden Grove, and we can make sure that all of my council colleagues have that information in the event that they want to attend. It will be my last meeting as a state director for Cal Cities before our league conference that I hope some of you, if not all of you, have registered for to participate in September. And lastly, just a personal update. I had a very busy July. Not only did I turn 33, but I actually got to marry my best friend. And so I just want to say that it was a very magical, wonderful day to have experienced in front of lots of friends and family. And I can't believe that it already been 3 weeks. It seems like it's been a dream, something that I planned while I was pregnant, running for Congress and serving on council while working full time. So I'm just glad that that's done now, but I was able to enjoy that special moment, and I'm just so grateful. Thank you.
City Manager Lisa Kim.
Thank you, Mayor. I have no items.
Okay. General Counsel, anything to report or?
Mayor, we did have closed session earlier today, and we have no reportable action out of that closed session.
Thank you. I'd like to do some closing remarks tonight in memory of longtime Garden Grove Lion Club and community member Roy Ragusa, who has recently passed away peacefully and without pain. Affectionately known by the Lions Club members as Uncle Roy, he started as a new member in 1972. He was a regular attendee of the club's meetings, events, and service projects, and with his background in accounting, helped with the club's financial records. The Lions Breath Mints fundraising helped support the community in various ways, and Roy was the last member to actively participate in those efforts that provided an impressive cachet of coinage along with sweeter breath. As serious as he was about the club's finances, he was also known to enjoy a little levity at the expense of the club's longtime treasurer, Dave Stewart, by tasking him with sorting the coins collected from the mints, which, much to Dave's chagrin, always included a lot of foreign coins. Roy's contributions to the Lions Club and his community will be missed by many of his friends, especially his fellow Lions. He is survived by his loving wife, Anne. For those who would like to pay their respects, funeral services will be held on Thursday, August 29th at 10 a.m. at St. Julian's Church, 1316 North Acacia Street in Fullerton. A reception will follow at the Fullerton's Elks Club, 1400 Elks View Lane. All Lions are invited to attend, and Anne respectfully asks that in lieu of flowers, donations be made to the Garden Grove Host Lions Club. Thank you all. And with that, we will stand adjourned.